Hey, welcome. I would like to call this meeting to order. It's the public hearing for a special council meeting beginning at 5 o'clock. Well, we're starting at 5:05, Tuesday, January 21st, 2025, in the Murray City Council Chamber located at Murray City Hall, 10 East, 4800 South. I am the council chair, Pam Cotter. I would like to read some things to the candidates. Thank you. I sat in your seat 7 years, I don't know, long time ago. So, and Paul Pickett has too. So each candidate will be asked to respond to 4 questions. Candidates will have a maximum of 1.5 minutes to answer each question. Jennifer, our executive director down here next to council member Adam Hawk, will give you a warning when you have 30 seconds left, and a bell will go off at 1.5 minutes. The order of the candidates' responses will change with each question. Oh, I guess my voice is too stern. Oh.
I was worried that was one of the candidates already.
Please follow Patty's instructions to stay in order. And Patty is right behind you, and she is part of the council staff with us also. So with that, I am going to turn some time over to G.L. Critchfield, our city attorney.
Those of you who have seen this before, probably not many, and those who haven't seen this before, this is a little bit odd. What will happen after the interviews, there will be an initial vote, and the idea is to get it down to 2 candidates. If we have ties in those initial votes, then there could be a coin toss to decide who goes on. But we'll get two people, and then there'll be a second vote, and if that's a tie, then it'll be a coin toss to decide it ultimately. It'll come down to that. So I will be tallying along with Jennifer and others who votes for who to see what the second vote will entail, or if there's going to be a coin toss in the interim. So hang tight, enjoy the process. Thanks for being here.
Okay, so now that we have all instructions, everyone just take a deep breath and just let it out. It's all good. Okay, we're going to start with Council Member Paul Pickett to my right. Go ahead.
Before I ask the question, I just want to say that I sat in your chair twice and lost twice. So I just ran for office. So if you don't get picked, just run for office, you know. That's the way I see it. Here's my question for all of you here. I'm interested in what you have done in the last 12 months to show that you are involved with Murray City and its residents.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us here today. And my name is Deandra Brown. First off, I want to apologize that my resume did not attach properly to my email, so apologies about that. But to answer your question, Council Member, I have really dedicated a lot of my life because I'm passionate about helping community members. In particular, I've done a lot in the areas of domestic violence and mental health services and child abuse prevention. So I have been very active at the Capitol in helping to push for further funding for some of these projects. I am also a long-standing Murray citizen, so every example that I provide of my home life and my family comes from my 17 years here in Murray, raising my 14-year-old daughter who's about to start at Cottonwood High School this coming fall. Good grief, I'm still trying to absorb that. But it has been a wonderful opportunity to connect with citizens and victims of some of these crimes, to really hear their personal stories and how we can be better and do better and create better laws and policies that really protect them and keep them in mind, instead of just legislating and doing policy at them. It's been a core part of who I am, to bring people to the table, to work across the aisle, and to make sure that all voices are heard, fully knowing that when it comes down to it, we pass better policies and better legislation when we all give a little and work together.
Thank you.
Hi, Council. In the last 12 months, I have attended every meeting or watched it. I've read all of the packets for all the meetings and tried to participate where possible and encourage other citizens to do so as well. When citizens had questions about those, I would work with staff that I've gotten to know and council members to see if I could point them in the right direction or help address their concerns. And tried to attend as many Murray events and get to know the people of Murray. I've tried to stay connected with as many citizens as possible through that time. 12 months ago is when I didn't win as I ran for this seat. And I was 958 votes, 111 votes short. And so I've tried to stay plugged into that. And also I served on a committee to work on the downtown historic plaza, part of our downtown district that we've been working on, and that would apply to the new form-based code zone that was discussed at the Committee of the Whole. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, hello. I'm a little nervous, so forgive me. Thank you for doing this special meeting. Thank you, everybody, for being here, especially for other, we call them candidates or applicants. The real question I have to start out is it council member, one word or two words? What have I done in the last 12 months? So I am a graduate student up at the University of Utah. I'm trying to get a degree in school psychology, so I've been extremely busy and focused on that. But my focus has been communicating directly with my district representative, which is, I want to call her Rosalba, but so that's kind of my involvement, trying to figure out what the agenda has been for the entire city. I also have a friend here who is a teacher from in Murray School District, so communicating with her, kind of like what's going on that level, because again, that's a more personal level for me. And I'm looking for the time because I'm really nervous. So again, part of my focus and my priority is I've studied the economic plan that the city has released pretty closely, and I'm trying to follow what the vision is, and I have to say it's been very good. So again, that's one of the reasons why I'm excited to come and be part of the city's leadership, because I think that direction is in the right direction. But I do have some concerns, and hopefully, as I have more time, I will address that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. I'm happy to be here. As far as the service goes, there's a couple things that we've done. So I'm more of a one-on-one kind of person, and I love to meet neighbors, people in the neighborhood. My wife and I, we will take walks down through Murray Park and back up through the neighborhoods. And we've stopped and talked to quite a few people. But as far as service goes, we've had the opportunity to help a couple of our neighbors move within the last 12 months. And that was kind of fun. I mean, as fun as moving is, but it was fun because we were able to talk about them and learn more about our neighbors. And for me, I think that's really important, that we understand who our neighbors are, who people in our areas are, and that we feel comfortable and we feel safe. And I have also noticed a couple of different types of criminal activity on the street that I live in on 4800 South. And because of working in law enforcement, I've called the police a few times to try to help, and not try to get in their way, but just to try to offer help. I'm always paying attention to suspicious things in the neighborhoods, and I'm also looking at all the buildings. I love looking at all the old buildings and trying to see what's available, what they use it for, and so I'm just very, very involved, and I'm very happy to help however I can. So I appreciate the opportunity, and thank you for letting me be here.
Thank you.
All right, good evening, Murray City Council. Thank you for having me here. My last 12 months, it's been a great time with Murray City. I've been, for the last almost 4 years, part of the Murray City Public Safety Advisory Board, where we used to meet once a month and talk policies and things that, what can we do to help with the police department, the fire department, and the citizens at large. I ran for office this last time. Didn't go so well, but that's okay. I kind of ran into a conflict with my military service, and unfortunately that's coming to an end. So look forward to doing that again if I don't get this here. But I really enjoyed that. The most fun was actually walking the neighborhoods and talking to people and being invited into their homes, even though I'm a little leery of that sometimes. But some Murray citizens are just awesome people, and they would do anything for you. And then this last summer, I helped I did coach a baseball team for Babe Ruth for Murray City. So I've had a great time with Murray City, and thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hi, City Council. My name's Lisa Milkevich. Over the last year, well, I guess I tend to be more grassroots as well. I like to talk to my neighbors. I like to participate in the community, in the PTA, the community council, and school. I've held state offices for my profession in healthcare and in the school districts. But then also I've been on the Murray Planning Commission for the last 9 years, and I've read every Planning Commission packet and discussed every item that's in those packets, and have followed up with how the City Council has voted on those issues as well, either watched the meeting or read through the minutes. So that was quick. I love being able the opportunity to serve my community, and I'm looking forward to possibly having this opportunity as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Leanne Parker-Reed, and I thank you all for being here and for allowing us to have this experience, and all of you out there for sure. The last 12 months, I spent quite a bit of it doing some similar things like everybody else, talking to my neighbors, spending time here at the council meetings, meeting with the whole when I can get to them, or online. Thank you for that opportunity to be able to see them online. I appreciate that too. I have volunteered my community for so long that sometimes I'm like, what am I volunteering? Oh, I'm doing this and that, and I'm always doing something. And then I forget, well, that is part of my community too. I do things with the LDS Church. I do things with the school district, with some of the other organizations that are here in the Valley. And so I spent a lot of time doing that. I spent a lot of time doing things with my family and with my close neighbors and my community people, and we're always talking things about the city, and they're like, Leanne, what's going on? And they're always asking me, so I better know. But I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to serve the community, and I very much enjoy spending time here with you. Thanks.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Hi, Council. I'm excited to be here, honored and humbled, and a bunch of nerves. But for the last 12 months, well, a little before 12 months ago, I ran for office, and I had the opportunity to meet with many citizens and have developed those friendships and continued those friendships and been able to discuss city matters with them since then. Serving my neighbors is really important to me. And I love all the walks of life that I get exposed to when I serve those that I live next to. I love the various types of living that we have in my neighborhood, in my pretty much immediate neighborhood, and to see all walks of life. I appreciate that very much. I've attended and watched many meetings, city meetings, and I've been able to speak to staff and council. And I am now a volunteer with Main Street America on the Murray City Downtown program, and I'm excited for what that can bring to us. I've discussed development plans with architects that are going to be building in our area, and just enjoyed being able to get to know everyone more each day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's my turn. Explain your understanding of the role of a city council member.
Well, my understanding of the role of a city council member is to represent about 10,000 residents in my district. That's my core role, but I think the overall role is to be part of the team, the leadership team that thinks about how to make Murray a better city. So I almost want to stop there. I think that's kind of the role. That's why we're here. Obviously, we're not here for ourselves. I will expand. I think my role is also to maintain constant communication with constituents, have kind of a open door policy so that if there's a concern, again, I would hope that constituents could approach any one of us, the mayor and any one of you, but since I am technically their representative, I would hope that they would bring that issue to me first. If there are issues that I could then make motions on their behalf towards the city council and the mayor, that to me would be a legitimate way of participating in democracy. So at its core, I believe my role is to serve my constituents and how to best serve Murray City. Thank you.
I thought I'd be warmed up by now, but I'm still a little nervous. I feel that city council, I think, for me, if I was being part of that, I want to make Murray City a place where families and individuals and businesses can thrive, and I want to see, anticipate how communities work with the businesses, how they can thrive and anticipate the future growth, how you can develop properties to basically have a city where a place is it's safe for the residents, and it's a happy place to be. We're open places where people can congregate, your neighbors, and people can just feel part of a community. And I think, especially a city like Murray, it's a smaller city, and it's got some traditional values, and it's a great place for people to feel safe and family. And the businesses are fantastic, and the hospitals are fantastic. I mean, we've got one of the best hospitals in the country, and I just look at the council. They have a responsibility to help the people understand what the city does, how that functions, to keep everything functioning properly, and to keep it that way for those families and individuals and businesses. So anyway, thank you.
I must apologize. First of all, I didn't introduce myself. My name's Scott Goodman. Just, I was kind of conceited of myself for everybody to assume they knew my name. Anyway, the main job of the council person is to be that link between the constituents and the city government. Okay, and in that, while that seems really vague, but it's huge, because you got to be able to work with both. You have to be able to take constructive criticism from the citizens at the same time with collaborating with the other council members. So it's a balancing act, and I see the stressors that you guys go through in trying to do that, and I appreciate that very much. But yeah, that's the main thing. You are the link, and you've got to do it with empathy. You've got to do it with leadership, and you've got to do it with a lot of integrity. Because that's huge. Okay, thank you.
Hello again, it's Lisa Milkevich. I think as a city council member, you have the honor or the responsibility of representing your constituents and hopefully encouraging your constituents to communicate with you what their desires are and taking the time to communicate with them to encourage them two-way communication. I also think it's your responsibility to dig into the detail on the topics and take the time to understand annexation and land use legislation, budget issues, so we can make the best and informed decisions for our constituents. And thank you.
Hi, my name's Leanne again. Can you hear me a little better this time? I apologize for last time. One of the main roles of a council person is to be part of the legislative body, which is what we are and we do. And we also oversee the budget for the city. So I think it's really important for the council person to be aware of the issues, and if you're not aware and not understanding them, to find out, whether through other council members, through city staff, through additional research on your own. And all of this information, you also need to relay to your citizens. They need to know what's going on too. And then you need to hear back from them what their recommendations are too. Because they have a voice in our city. They should definitely have a voice in our city. And we need to be the ones to communicate back and forth between the position as council and staff, as well as to our citizens back and forth. And I think that's really a vital part of being a council member. Thank you so much.
And I'm Janice Strobel. For the role of a city council member is, again, what Leanne just said, to be the legislative body and to help in passing the budget. So it does take a lot of study of the issues that come before us, and being a decision maker for the city, to be a voice for the people, to take on the honor of representing the people in our district and working together with the remaining body of the council to collaborate, be part of a team. One of the things as a small business owner, I've had to learn that you don't pass the buck. And that's part of what will be a role as a city council member, is taking on the challenges and finding solutions and working with others in creating the answer that may be different than what I originally came with. And then being able to work with the citizens, the constituents, as to how it can serve us well by supporting what is done in the city. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I think one of the greatest responsibilities and role of a council member is to be that person who can listen and learn from both each other and from the citizens in our community. In my race for the at-large Salt Lake County Council seat this last election cycle, I cannot tell you how many times I heard from Murray citizens who are so proud to be from our wonderful city. And then they would share with me their perspective about how they would love to see us move further into the future. And I think one of our responsibilities and roles also is to be good partners, to work across the infamous aisle with everyone that we can to really help make better policy. And to balance, it's our responsibility to balance the citizens and community members' opinions with our wonderful city employees who have such perspective and valuable insight. And sometimes we're going to have conflicting opinions. And it's really up to us to do what we can to try to balance that as much as possible by looking into the future and being as open and transparent as we can with our community members.
Hello again. The role of the City Council: attend all meetings, be good stewards of the citizens' tax dollars, proactively meet the citizens in your district, find out from them how we can improve and what they need in their neighborhood, represent the city to the citizens and represent the citizens to the city, study the issues and materials thoroughly and work with great staff to understand all the materials, educate the citizens on what is happening as early as possible in the process, and then engage them on what they think, listen and learn from the bounty of wisdom in the citizenry. Come back to the council and staff with questions and concerns and learn from the wisdom of your fellow council members and staff. Educate the citizens again and get further feedback. Come to a conclusion that is the best thing for the citizens and the city, and help the citizens feel good about the process. The citizens may not always get what they want, but they should feel like their voice was heard. This is their city. You're their representative up there voting on behalf of them. And so every citizen should be able to see the process, feel like the process was fair, and feel like they had a voice. And if we don't make the citizens feel like they have a voice, then I feel like we're not doing our job as a city council. Thank you.
Hi, candidates. I'm Diane Turner, and I'm going to ask you the next question. Thank you all for being here. You're all awesome. So we really appreciate your interest. So my question is, what is your understanding of our form of government, and how does it differ from other cities, such as West Valley City or Holiday? Okay, and we'll start with Scott Goodman.
All right, good evening again, I'm back. Hey, I was good friends with the prior city manager for West Valley, Wayne Pyle, awesome guy. And we would talk about his trials and tribulations over in West Valley, and he ran everything. There was no committee on how things are done. There was no cross discussion on how the budget was done, how to best support the city employees. It was kind of a goofy thing, and we would talk about, in Murray's, where our city council, decides on the ordinances and the like for like zoning and planning. Whereas West Valley City was pretty different in that. And I'm really glad Murray City is the way that it is. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Hi, it's Lisa Mulkevich again. I am not sure I have the best answer for this question. I know in Murray we have a little bit of a unique city government compared to others, in which our city council kind of operates as our legislative branch, and our mayor kind of operates as our executive branch. And we have equal power often. I know our city council represents the constituents of Murray. It does a wonderful job of doing that. And that, like I said before, I know that a lot of the hot topics that the city council works on are the budget and legislative issues and like issues such as land use and annexation, things of that nature. I think that's all I have on that one. Thanks.
Thank you.
Leanne again. Our council operates, like we said, council members and mayor, legislative, executive. Some other cities operate on a commissioner level, and so they have a certain number of commissioners, and they do sometimes like part of it will be deal with some of their zoning issues. Some will deal with some of their safety issues. So they don't always work hand in hand, but they do collaborate, obviously, because they're running a city. But we do have varying degrees of what we do in our cities, and I appreciate this one because there seems to be a balance, and I think our citizens have more of a voice with the council and the mayor's situation. So that's what I see. Thanks.
Okay, so we have a mayor and we have 5 council members. And those 5 council members represent 5 districts in our city, where each district is roughly about 10,000 of the population of our city. And we are, as a city council member of a district, we seek to represent the voice of the people within our district and work together with the other council members and be able to present the consensus for how we can work together as a city, work under the direction of our mayor, and work in synergy with our mayor. We don't have a city manager, and I think what this does, and we don't have at-large city council members, so we are by area of our city. And I think what this allows is our citizens to have more representation and more ability to know who they can contact and seek to have their voice heard. And I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Hello again, Deandra here. I really appreciate the way that our Murray City Council and committees are formed. I have appreciated being able to listen into so many of the planning committee meetings. It's really fascinating, especially as we have so many new building projects and so much is really blossoming here in Murray City. I appreciate the fact that we do have our mayor separate from our council members and really allowing us to have that division of branches. And I also appreciate the fact, as has been mentioned, that we have 5 districts, that we don't have any at-large individuals that are tasked with representing an entire huge swath of the city. I appreciate the fact that each of our districts are very tailor-made to the area that they're in, that we have the opportunity to really dig deep into these issues with those individuals that are our neighbors that we see at our children's school or at our faith community meetings. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us to really, as individuals and citizens, feel like we can do our due justice as well, and that we can have access to you, and that you really take those responsibilities seriously.
Hello. So we are a council form of government with a strong mayor. The mayor is the CEO of the city. The mayor doesn't get a vote, but he is the executive director, or he or she is the executive director of the redevelopment agency. All staff reports up through him. We don't have a city manager, but we do have a Doug, who is great, and it's very helpful. each council member represents an equal portion of the district. In fact, the city redistricted recently so that the population would balance out. West Valley, they have 7 council members, including 3 at large. One of those at large is the mayor. And the mayor gets a vote in West Valley. They do have a city manager who's new as of this year, Ifo Peely. I didn't have time to look up the holiday, but I'm sure I will after this. But I feel like Murray City is run very well, and the form of government that we use works well for all the independence we have, including Murray Power, including our public safety, and having a strong mayor facilitates the independence of Murray and how we interact with the state. Thank you.
Well, at the risk of not sounding very redundant, because everyone has covered this very well, one thing that I do know is there's a check and balance system to the way that the city is set up. So again, the mayor being an executive, kind of the CEO, and then we have the council being the legislative branch. So again, I'm going to be honest, I don't think there's ever been any kind of super conflict with that kind of structure. I also know that Murray falls kind of in the middle in terms of population size. So West Valley being the 2nd largest city in Utah, Salt Lake being the 1st. I'm not exactly sure where Holiday falls, but my guess is that Holiday is a little smaller than Murray. So the way that the legislative and the executive branch is set up and the way that you work together is very collaborative, and I think that's worked very well for Murray. One of the things I've always bragged about is we have our own power, we have our own school district, we have a huge hospital, we've got Costco. I mean, we are the perfect little bubble in the middle of the valley. I can get anywhere within 15 minutes, so with the structure that we have, you can see that the success that has come from that. So honestly, I love the system, the way it's set up, and I wouldn't change anything about it. So thank you.
All right, I'm feeling warmer. I appreciate it. One of the things that I see is size and area, right? West Valley is a huge city. You have a lot of business, so you have a lot of tax base coming in through the business. Here we have 41%, I believe, of businesses that are generating tax revenue to keep the taxes down for citizens. You have more residents in Holiday probably than you do businesses, and so you have a difference. How much size do we have to build? And where? And West Valley is large, and there's a lot of space. In Murray, there's not as much space, and so I think it's important to try to make good decisions and try to help people build in a way that keeps Murray, where the residents, I mean, when you have more people, you have more crime, you have more everything that you have to bring in. You have bigger roads, you have bigger capacities, and we have to take into account all of those things in the size of our city and to try to keep it a great city, the great city that it is. And so my thoughts is trying to recognize the difference of what makes the difference for the residents and for our citizens, and how we can keep that a safe place for them and a good place to be. Anyway, thank you.
My turn. When making decisions, how would you determine what is in the best interest of the city? Do you want me to repeat it? When making decisions, how would you determine what is in the best interest of the city?
Well, I guess there's a couple of ways you can go around this, about this. First of all, deciding what it encompasses. So taking a full look at the picture of what it is you're trying to accomplish, possibly breaking it down into smaller increments to figure out what details are needed, and then working together as council, collaborating with the mayor and the other staff to say, these are the things we're looking at, this is what we'd like to do, and always keeping in mind, what have the citizens asked us to do? What do they want? And if we need more information from them, then we need to be asking them. We need to be sharing what the problem is, how we see it moving forward, and get their feedback as well. But it's a team effort. It's generally not a one-on-one final decision because we all get to vote. We're voting for our constituents, our people in our district, and we're doing this to best serve the community that we live in, which is our lovely city of Murray. Thank you so much.
Action is really an important part of determining what is in the best interest of the city. What kind of action? Studying the matter, discussing it with others, collaborating, listening, asking, reaching out, and being willing to see things from a different perspective than maybe I would have come into it with at the onset. Taking a step back, being thoughtful, and taking time to think it through. I kind of think about how Murray started. Murray started as in the smelting industry. Smelting is getting metals out of ore and sediment. And today, we're in the process of doing that, pulling out the best from one another and letting our contributions combine to make a real difference. Just like the metals were pulled from smelting, helped contribute to our community to become a bright light for all to see. That's part of the action that we're about. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I do believe that so much of the work that you all do, frankly, comes down to funding. And what you have is what you have. And so I appreciate the fact that you stretch every dollar. And I think that has to come into play in every decision that we make. Obviously, we wanted to root back to how we can help the most citizens as possible and how we can look towards the future and make sure that we're set up in such a way that Murray can continue to thrive for many, many decades to come. But we really have to make sure that we're fiscally responsible and that we're always keeping that at the root of what we do while we're balancing so many different things of trying to help different groups of citizens and trying to listen and learn from each other and from the community. But I do believe in addition to being fiscally responsible, it's really important for us to continue to fund those vital services that we know our community needs, our police, our fire, our water, our power, all these amazing resources that we're so blessed and lucky here in Murray to have locally. So it's very important that we work together to make sure that we can fund those services and then look towards the future as much as we can to make sure that we are prepared for what may come down the road.
To do what is in the best interest of Murray, I think working with our awesome, knowledgeable staff and looking towards the long-term health of Murray, not just think what we want now or the citizens want now, but try to point everyone to what do we want for Murray 50 years from now? Which direction should Murray be heading, and what is best? As a parent, I know sometimes my kids don't always know what is best for them 10, 20 years from now. They're thinking about today. And sometimes we have to help the citizens understand that. As you knock doors, you learn so much from citizens. They have great ideas. They have wisdom. Get ideas from the citizens. Help the citizens understand, but also listen to them. Make sound financial decisions, i.e. listen to Brenda. She will help keep this city financially sound. Listen to the mayor and staff and council members who have been on the council longer and been with the city longer because they have so much experience and wisdom to learn from. Listen to GL, who will protect us from liability, and keep us, within the law. I think do a lot of listening, maybe listen 5 times and make a decision once. Thank you.
So I don't know what the protocol is, but this is one question I did prepare for, so if I can just pass this. We'll take that one with you if I could. This is probably the hardest question because as you take into consider what is best for Murray, there may be some conflicts. So obviously, one of the things that Murray has done well is we're now AAA rated from the Fitch report. And that means that we're going to draw more businesses. And as the economic and the developmental growth happens with Murray, how do we balance that with, say, open space or environmental protection? How do we figure out what's best in terms of the budget and taxes? So it's such a complicated question. I almost feel like after doing all the research, there's almost going to be a lot of collaboration, a lot of input from the mayor and from other council members, from the constituents, and there's going to be a lot of soul searching because as you balance the budget, sometimes there's not enough money to, let's say, fund the school districts in the way we want. Let's say there's not enough money to build infrastructure, and infrastructure is going to be extremely important because even though the population of Murray has kind of stabilized and is in decline, I feel like people come here to shop, they come here to work, and how do we budget for that kind of traffic through Murray? So it's such a complicated question. I wish there was a simple answer. Again, I bow down to all of you for what you do and the success of Murray, and I in my heart know that you make the best decision you can with this question. I mean, I don't know how you sleep at night thinking, we got to cut here, but we got to do this. So thank you. This was the last question. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you so much.
I feel what's best for the city is, for one thing, I think turning to your city leaders, to the department heads, and understanding what's happening in the city with the parks and with your police and your fire, and understanding what areas are important. I mean, obviously, business is very important. What types of businesses are we bringing into Murray, and do we have an image that we expect to keep with those businesses? Do we want to bring businesses that are not good for bringing in crime or bringing in other problems? So when you talk to the city leaders, they're gonna have a good idea and a good understanding of their of the city and what's happening and where we need to bring. I mean, obviously, greater business is going to generate lower tax base for residents, and our concern as council is to represent those our neighbors, our people in our districts, and I think that's very important. And there's a fine balance between helping the city be great, but also help the citizens recognize that. And so I'm sure there's a lot of back and forth through the process, and I'm sure there's some frustrating moments, but ultimately you want to see the city thrive. And right now Murray is a beautiful city, and you guys have done a great job with the city as it is, and I'm happy to see it, and I hope it continues down this path and that I can be part of that. So I appreciate the time, and thank you all, and that's all I've said.
All right. Hey, so I appreciate this question. I like this one a lot because, as you know, the military is really good at making decisions. Not always the best decision, but we do have a process where, at the very first step, you seek for input from stakeholders, i.e., constituents, fellow citizens here. You seek input using an open forum or town halls or anything like that. Get their input as far as how they see things are supposed to go. And then you analyze the data. you need to get smart on what it is you're trying to figure out. Then you war game or search for courses of action. You look, hey, does this fit in with my future plan for the city? Because we do have a future plan. Does this work with that? And then you talk to the experts in the field. I'm going to name drop now, your Chief Burnett's, depending on what problem you're trying to solve, those are the experts you're looking for. And then you make a decision. That's the key thing. To go through the whole process and not make a decision that's clear and transparent and well thought out, that's where a lot of governments get in trouble there. So thank you. Appreciate it.
So one last time, I'm Lisa. Thanks for the tough questions. I also volunteer at Snowbird, and about 50% of the people that come up to you ask for the best snow, best run. And I always pause because best is relative. You have to ask more questions, all right? You got to ask more questions to understand what residents feel is best and what really is best for our cities. Understand the variables thoroughly, and then talk about the answers you heard, listen, talk about the answers you heard, then talk to your fellow council members and residents to hear what they heard and what they felt was best, then chew on it a little bit more, get back together and talk about it, and hopefully make best decisions. I'm hoping my time on the Planning Commission helped me understand some of the past use of our land, the present use of our land, and where we want to use it and how we want to use it in the future. And hopefully I did a good job of asking questions and listening, and I hope to use that past history and knowledge that gained there to hopefully help our city council continue to make good decisions. And I really appreciate you for having us here tonight and the residents for listening to us tonight. And I wish you the best of luck of making the best decision. This is going to be a hard choice, and we appreciate the hard answers, the questions. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates, for coming here and answering our questions. We're going to just take a little bit of about, 4 minutes? 3, 5? 5. Okay, we're going to take 5 minutes so we can just re-look at your questions and your answers, and then we will reconvene. What? Yes, thank you. Call this meeting back to order. We're going to start with the first roll call vote by our city recorder, Brooke Smith, and I will turn the time over to her.
All right, Miss Turner.
I have to give one name, right?
One name.
This is tough. You guys are
Yeah.
amazing. And again, thank you so much. Okay. Anthony Scott Goodman.
Mr. Hawk.
So, I don't talk much up here, but I'm going to talk today. 3 of us have been in the same seat that you have. And Councilmember Pickett, Cotter, and myself have all sat there. And 2 of us lost also at this. So we know how it feels, and this is a screwy process. And I think everybody up here will admit this is a screwy process that state law forces us into. The good news for you is there's an election at the end of this year. So no matter what we do, if you really want this seat, run for it. And that's my one advice for all of you. Councilmember Pickett and myself both lost in this and went back and won elections. So if you want to be here, start preparing today for an election, because it will be this November. So when I looked at this decision, my criteria was I wanted to look for somebody who I felt like would work with us well. We have a lot going on in the city, and we have a lot that we're trying to do. And the last thing I want up here is bickering between the five of us. We have a good relationship, and I don't want that. And so that was something that was weighed heavily, as if I felt like there was going to be issues between the council. And so with that, I vote for Anthony Scott Goodman.
Mr. Pickett.
God, I hate this. I hate this. But since I'm forced to make a decision here, I can't get away with giving all 8 of you my vote. My top priority was involvement and experience. And for that reason, I'll have to go with Clark Bullen.
And Ms. Cotter.
This is really hard. I'm the baller up here. I'm going to go with Janice Trabell. So I'm going to turn the time over to GL, and what our next process will be.
So those with no votes were eliminated, and that leaves us with Mr. Goodman, Mr. Bullen, Ms. Strobel. So there will be, because there's a tie between Mr. Bullen and Ms. Strobel, we will have a coin toss for that. And then that'll get us to 2 candidates for the second vote.
So I have a $50 here. It's a 2023. The heads is going to go, we're going by last name, so Bolin, you'll be heads. On the opposite side, there is a eagle, and that will be Jenna Strobel. And whatever it lands, that's will be the decision. So we'll go from there. So bad at this, I'm so sorry. But does someone want to verify this? Yeah, you can go. Show. I can see it. Heads. Yep. Yeah. So heads. So it's heads. So now we'll go, I'll turn it back over to the council.
It was Clark.
Okay, that reduces it to 2 candidates, Mr. Bolin, Mr. Goodman. So there'll be a second vote at this point.
Okay, sorry. Coming back to me. Ms. Turner.
Anthony Scott Goodman.
Mr. Hawk.
Mr. Goodman. My mic's not on. Mr. Goodman.
Mr. Pickett.
Clark Bullen.
And Ms. Cotter.
Anthony Scott Goodman.
Goodman.
Mr. Goodman,
Okay,
you're the next council member.
we're going to take a quick break so we can get things set up. Thank you, candidates, for coming. Please don't forget, you can start running right in November. Oh, the winner is candidates, I'm not, candidates. Sit. Thank you. We're going to take a break so we can have the recorder get everything set up. We want to thank you for all coming tonight. We appreciate your time out of your busy schedules. The vote has been concluded that Anthony Scott Goodman will be the interim council member until January 6th. Thank you, everyone, and this meeting is now adjourned. What? Oh, yeah, and, yeah.
See you again, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be back.
Sit. Okay, I need approval of the resolution appointing Anthony Scott Goodman as interim Murray City Council member. Do I have a motion? And please read the whole thing.
I motion to approve the resolution appointing Anthony Scott Goodman as interim Murray City Council member for Council District 3 pursuant to Section 20A-1-510 of the Utah Code to serve until January 6, 2026.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and I have a second. I will turn the time over to Brooke, our city recorder now.
Oh, well, are we voting or, Ms. Turner?
Yep.
Yeah.
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye. Okay, now, we're taking this very nice and slow, okay? When I did it, it was like, get up there, raise your arm, and get going. So if you have any family members that would like to take pictures, please have them come and sit in a chair, front row, so they can take pictures. Okay. Are we all set? Okay, perfect. And we have all family members, I'm assuming we're all good? Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to turn the time over to Brooke now.
All right. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Anthony Scott Goodman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support, obey, and defend
to support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and to perform the duties of my office
and to perform the duties of my office
as a Murray City Council member
as a Murray City Council member
representing District 3
representing District 3
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Anthony,
Yes, ma'am.
right here. Right here, okay. You sit between the two prettiest members. Okay, so, see,
Yeah, that's all.
right here.
Okay.
Welcome. Does this not look awesome? This is a family picture for the Christmas card. Welcome, Anthony. I am going to adjourn this meeting until 6:30. We are extremely hungry, so we are going to go. Yep.
Can we go 6:45? So we have more than 10 minutes?
Okay. Okay, Councilmember Adam Hawk, we will go until 6:45, and do I have a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's okay, adjourn. Don't go anywhere.